Well, just after 5 o'clock tonight, the paper responded to our request for comment, announcing while the tweet they say was ill-timed, Seales was not directly in violation of the company's social media policy, and she is no longer suspended. This also brought up an issue of personnel matters. They said we shouldn't have talked about that publicly. We wanted to broaden this out, though. What does this case tell us more broadly about reckoning with the full history of beloved legends? I spoke about the complicated, at times conflicting dynamics with Stephen Kent of Young Voices. He writes about entertainment and media for Washington Examiner. Given the recent situation with the Washington Post, Kobe Bryant and its reporter, when you think of legends out there who have legacies, they also have histories, it's hard to grapple with how that should be reported today.
It is hard. And when incidents like this, which, by the way, were just breathtaking. I was driving out of Washington, D.C. on a little family trip, and my friend in the side seat mentioned that Kobe Bryant went down. I mean, I almost stopped the car. It's a shocking piece of news. And journalists have a tough job when covering these things. What I think a lot about these days is how close journalists are to the people in which they cover. We are at a crossroads where the news and people who do the news are becoming an outgroup to the larger American public. And these institutions need to think more carefully about how their coverage and attitudes shown in public reflect their closeness to the people that they cover, which is the country. And I think that fans of Kobe Bryant, they know what happened in 2003. With the rape case that Felicia Sonmez tweeted about. They know about it. They've internalized it. They've grappled with it, and they've made certain sorts of peace with it. And her tweet, which started this entire ordeal, was sort of a throwing it in their face kind of attitude, I think, is what got us here. We can talk about some of the nuance there, but I think that they need to be more careful about tone.
It said accuser. It didn't say victim and things like that, she was pretty much putting that forth. Was the timing right? It seems that she and everyone else says timing was perhaps bad. But when you see someone like Marty Baron, the executive editor, really well known in the industry, reportedly telling her, you're hurting this institution. Many reporters have said, no, the thing hurting the institution is not backing up your reporter putting out a factual piece of journalism.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And it's pretty remarkable when you have the media reporter at the Washington Post, Eric Wemple, one of the bloggers there, and you have the Poynter Institute for Journalism, all coming out and saying this is incredibly suspect, and not to mention the union at the Washington Post as well. They are completely on their own, at least the Human Resources Department, in this incident. Felicia Sonmez tweeted a story from the Daily Beast, which is backed up. It is trustworthy. And the Washington Post, when it asks their journalists to share other stories, they say those guidelines must be that the piece is informative, that it is fact-checked, and that the reporters take ownership for whatever they share when it's from another outlet. That meets all those marks. It's not clear here what the double standard is that is being imposed on Felicia Sonmez, and it seems to just be a sensitivity issue. Kobe Bryant wasn't the only person who died on that helicopter. His young daughter did, and 7 other people or 6 other people as well. But that being said, I mean, Kobe Bryant is a public figure. This story is about him. And asks people to grapple with the larger legacy. But there is a time and a place. You write a tweet thread, right? You put all of your thoughts out there on how complex a biography can really be. Or you put out a piece in reflection on Kobe Bryant. You don't just tweet out, oh, by the way, here's the story about his rape case while everybody is still mourning the death of Kobe and his daughter. And that seems to be the issue. But that's not an HR issue that the Washington Post hasn't consistently enforced by any measure.
Stephen Kent, so much complexity to this. Thank you very much for bringing your perspective.